What is going on, guys? Wise here, and coming to you with OneHive Labs' next Slay My Based episode. Yes, guys, I know we are way overdue for this one, but of course, naturally, that means I am here with one of my good friends, Kadek. How you doing, my friend?
Hey man, doing good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, always a pleasure. Excited to kind of get back on track with these. Glad we can kind of get together here. We got a lot of content in my last recap. I was just mentioning about the progress we've been making on not only getting back on track with these series, but working on the Town Hall 10 base building stuff. I know I get a lot of questions about that, so excited to get together with you in DI and put some stuff together. Anyhow, just want to lead right into this. What we're going to start off with, I don't want you guys sending me bases. There's certain ones we'll come across that we don't feel you fully watch the base building series because there's some glaring issues about your base. That just means the rest of the discussion about your base is just going to compound off that problem. So as opposed to just not selecting your base and not thinking, I was thinking about trying to respond to you guys in emails. This is just kind of easier. We're just going to show these bases. So I'm just going to flip over here to base number 1 and kind of explain what I'm talking about. So, or Katic is actually going to explain what I'm talking about. So there is one major problem looking at this base
Yeah.
right off the bat that is just going to affect the rest of the base. Now, what is that problem?
Well, as we talked about before the episode even started, I can draw a perfect circle here and cover, well, let's check it out, about 80% of the base.
Into five of 8 compartments. Yep.
And with Valkyries being this strong as they are currently, this means that, for example, start a queen walk any position you would like. I wouldn't care if her healers died at the end, because I could start her over here, walk her all the way down, drop a couple of hogs to surgical this archer tower away, and let her do her thing. This air defense will take out healers in the end, but it doesn't matter at that time. Most of the defenses, if not all of the defenses, are gone. You'll need a one rage over there, and the rest of the base is just mass Velks.
Yep.
There's nothing to stop it
So I mean,
because everything's open.
realistically, guys, things like a compartment size that is earthquakeable like that, exposing your queen, exposing your bombs. Like realistically, you get everything, right? You get access to 3 bomb compartments, all 4 Teslas, just everything, and it's just too much to continue to break down the base using the steps that we normally do, just because of this one glaring issue. So. Just wanted to mention that, guys. We're gonna show a few of these probably at the beginning of each episode, and then just move on quickly. So
Yeah, one last thing I would want to mention still, every single wizard tower, maybe not this one, maybe it's not in range of that air
that's
defense,
real close.
and all of the Teslas are in range of an air defense. So an air attacker has a very easy time killing this base.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So okay, moving on to our next example. So this one overall, there was some good things about the base. However,
Definitely.
again, one sort of glaring issue is what?
Well, I can draw a line with about 10 tiles right over there. Maybe it's not a clear color. Uh, Let me just draw some B stripes over here. Just nice and yellow and black. 10 tiles, and all 4 of the giant bombs are in there. I mean, overall, I gotta admit, this base is pretty good. It has a lot more compartments than the last one. It has wizard towers out of range of air defenses. Spring trams are pretty good. So, I mean,
Non-walkable air defense.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like
Queen is
lots of good
pretty well
things.
defended, but she will jump over into this compartment and jump over into that compartment. And looking into that a little bit closer, I can quake over here between the air defense and the cannon, and that opens all 4 of the giant bombs and the queen. Because a golem coming in here, it will walk towards the wizard tower, walks toward the cannon, likely go towards the air defense, go towards the mortar, and lure the queen out perfectly. So the queen will die, all of the giant bombs will be gone. Now, your springs are pretty well placed. I mean, there's 5 in a pretty nice line.
Yep.
So if I were to attack this, I would lose 10 to 15 hogs if I were to hog that side, if not with a queen walk. But it would still be toast.
Yeah.
I
It
would
wouldn't.
likely
It
not
wouldn't
need any
matter.
heal
Like
for my hogs.
really, as long as these initial point defense kind of go down. Um,
Yeah, the only issue I then see is this Tesla farm.
yeah. But there's just again though, because those bombs are so close together, there's just so many options that there's no point in continuing the breakdown. However, there's a lot of really good things about the base. I was going to comment too, and the spring traps are corner to corner too, right? You
Yeah,
look at
they're
that.
nice.
Yeah.
They're well placed. There's only 2 I can see that aren't perfect. This one and this one. So yeah, good job overall. I just want to mention that like overall, it's a good job with building the base. I mean, I can see you're very early town 9. There's no expos yet. There's no extra defenses yet. So I mean, for a starter, this is pretty good. But like, just imagine those bombs being over here, and the second set being where it is, and the queen not able to jump either in either direction. The base would be so much better. So focus on that. You're on the right track. Keep it up, and yeah,
Yeah.
that's about it.
Absolutely. Nice. All right. So let's jump on to the next one.
Here we go. Tell me if you can see it.
I can see it. Yeah. We're good to go. So some really good things about this base, and then still some glaring issues, but just not. These are tweakable issues versus complete rebuild issues. I guess
Yeah,
would be the way to say it.
absolutely. So we want to break this base down a bit further and go a bit more into details. So the first thing we're going to look at is the queen, obviously. She's nice and tight between the town hall and dark elixir storage. First of all, her chamber sizing is kind of small. She will actually jump towards the wizard tower easily. She will actually not jump towards the core. I mean, that's 3 tiles plus a golem coming in from the core will get stuck on this sweeper, which means it's a straight angle towards her, so she will not jump over that wall. So that's a very important thing to note. Another important thing to see is that she will jump over here. So that means a queen walking past, a queen walk at the top will be able to take her out.
Yep.
So that's one important thing. I mean, with most queen chambers right now, it's possible to do that, but this is a fairly easy one because there's only 2-point defenses, and this expo is likely out of range. So it's a tricky one. The range of your queen should be around that wall, but be careful with it. I mean, from this knock, I'm sure she'll reach.
I think even just walking by.
Yeah, it's a close call though.
Yeah. Yeah. Very close.
So my first question would be, what is the added benefit of this wall, for example? If you were to place that wall, for example, in the core, like over here, I know it doesn't fit right now, but I think you would get so much more value out of it.
Yeah,
So that's
just
just one
slowing down
thing.
things behind. She's gonna jump that wall regardless, so the wall doesn't do anything other than
No,
stops some ground troops from getting from the core, or sorry, from the wizard tower, like from this compartment to this compartment. Well, that's just there's not a lot of value to that.
yeah, absolutely. One other thing I see is there's a lot of storage in this area, even worse in this section. That's about 20 to 30% of the base. I think that's a good guess.
Yep.
There's 3 storages outside of that area, including your CC. That would be 4. So that means like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 storages in just a very small area of your base. I mean, they protect your queen. They do that job. They likely do it well, but they only stall troops, and that means the rest of your base is quite vulnerable. So move these storages out, increase the size of your queen chamber, basically, and yeah, try to be more efficient with them. Another thing you see with the queen chamber,
Um,
I think that covers
I
most,
think so.
doesn't it?
Yeah, as well. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So So let's move to the hog pathing. First thing to look at is the double giant bomb. I mean, that's the most important thing of the hog pathing and everything. It's nice and away from the queen. The only issue I see with this is that there's only one wall in between them, so this junction is quite weak. Actually, let's take it a step back. In combining this with compartment sizing, there's one glaring issue with this base, and that is, first of all, a jump here at the south, or a quake there, of course, or a quake over here at 4 o'clock. Both of those will open up most of the base, and with an added jump, I mean, this is very hard to defend, so keep that in mind. They have pretty easy reach towards your queen. So what we were talking about this base is a cold-blooded entry or a 2-column entry at the south. It will clear likely all of this, and this section as well, with a couple of surgical hogs. And with an added jump, that makes most of the base, leaving only, what is it, 2 springs over here, 1 giant bomb, and a couple of point defenses. So that makes it very easy to attack this base.
And then even just going along with like what we talked about with the queen, you could call a CB, CB Govaho with a little bit of a walk. Walk somewhere down in that direction, pull out the CC, pull out the queen, send in everything here. You do not have a lot of the base left to work with.
No, absolutely. And also because of all of these storages are over here. Yeah, your queen will be stalled for a very long time. She'll not get that much value. But then again, look at what is left of the base. It's so little. Like it's only this section.
At that point, like really her only goal is to get the defensive queen and get the CC troops.
Yeah.
And then just start working on cleanup. Right? Like that's
absolutely
because all those high hit points. You said this to me once. I don't know if you remember this, Caddick, when I had sent you a base a long time ago, and your comment to me was, "There's not enough meat inside the base." You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been saying that to a lot of people.
But it's true, like you said, right? We got 1, 2, 3. 4 outside really of this section of inside the base that are really any sort of structures that are gonna slow units down for a few seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and like in the core, like once you get anything to this core, there's nothing stopping it, right? Like it's, I don't know, there's too much stuff on that side of the base, ready to go crazy on the X's, but. That's my biggest problem with this base. There's just too much of your high hit point stuff, and not even necessarily used in the right way. Because, like you said, having the town hall, like look at this little L shape. Like, what value did this having high hit points have that get there? Not a lot.
A little bit. I mean, this one is valuable. The town hall will stall a little bit before the queen is reached, but by that time these 2 are down. And yeah, this Dark Elixir storage is probably the last building left in the base when it's cleared.
Because I'm just thinking, if you bring a queen down here, right, and she turns that corner to step in to take that town hall, pretty confident that's the point when the queen's going to aggro.
Yep.
So she'll take 2 or 3 shots at the town hall. The queen's going to take 1 shot. She'll take out the queen. You'll lure the CC out, and there's only, a level 1 expo and that cannon shooting her. At most, I don't know.
So, let's move on. The pathing of the double giant bomb. If I were to come in at 3 o'clock, like from this angle, the hogs will move over, jump towards the Tesla, and meet up on this Tesla. And where do they go afterwards? I think most, if not all, will go up.
Yep. Well, it's 1 space versus 3 spaces, essentially, right?
Essentially, yeah.
That's
and the other way around, from the south, if I were to come in from this angle, they will path up, This will path down first and likely split up. So this is a little bit more of a tricky situation, but from the wizard tower, I think they will move towards the sweeper.
Yeah, I do too. And even if some do go, I think it's sort of you're gonna get a split regardless. You're not gonna get it's not pure pathing. I think the only way you'd get pure pathing is coming from this direction to there, and there.
Yeah, I think so, but that does mean it needs reinforcing from this angle.
Absolutely, because and then even at the same time, as soon as they hit this expo, you're gonna get some splitting off.
Yeah, so it's a very tough one. Then again, the singles are placed pretty well.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking earlier? This single up top, I would never guess was there. You had mentioned
No,
this before, and I agree with you. I think a lot of people would think that that is a DGB, and maybe kind of overcompensate for it. And yeah, this bottom single is great as well.
yeah,
And you know
that's
what I
a possible DGB as
you
well.
know what I liked most about that bottom single is that to me that's not necessarily he would have to drop an earlier heal than I think you would want to there
Yeah,
because it's in between a
definitely.
sweeper, a mortar, and an air defense. So I mean, you think he might even heal early on the point defense, knowing that that is behind it, and then they'll be out of the heal even potentially by the time they hit the bomb.
Yeah, I think that it would the heal would cover about this section. But then again, a successful attack is likely to come in from anywhere in this angle. So I think all of these three giant bombs will be diffused anyway.
Yes.
So that's the big thing. So the next thing is springs. I see a blank space here. I see a blank space here. I see a blank space here. So fix those.
Yeah, they got to be touching, man. Absolutely.
I mean, I can just send some hogs over here. They will jump over towards the air defense and never even touch it. Same story goes for this cannon. Even if they come in from the correct angle, they will just run over and not trigger.
Yeah. Yeah, springs definitely need work. The double up here is sort of. I mean, if those Teslas weren't there, I would like it. I think, but
Yeah, if those Teslas weren't there, it would be pretty amazing,
yeah,
actually. So the next thing is air defenses. They're placed pretty well away from the queen, so a Lune attack is very hard to do. So in this case, even though I think 3 of the wizard towers are in range, yeah, 3 of the wizard towers are in range of air defenses, it's still kind of okay because it's very hard to pull off a shattered Laloon on this base. Would a stoned Laloon even make sense? I don't know. Maybe with a jump over here, but that's very tough to do because of the queen jumping in.
yeah,
I think that's possible, but it does take a skilled attacker. I don't think it will happen, but as a general rule of thumb, keep at least 2 or 3 wizard towers out of range of those air defenses, man.
yep.
It's really a must because
And
if you can defend air defenses I mean your air attacks properly, you can purely focus on ground attacks. So if you have those those basics correct, it opens you up to so much more options when defending your base.
yeah, like grounding expos or
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. Having specific CC comps to counter ground troops,
Yeah.
for example.
Um.
Also, the sweepers, from what I can tell, they cover most. They'll be pointed like this. I'm not sure if I like those.
No, I was just gonna comment on that. I'd almost rather have this one down in like that direction, and then same something like that. I don't know what you
Yeah,
would say.
an air attacker is likely to either come from this angle and go in, or from the top and go in, depending on where their kill squad is. So, if you want to stall their loons correctly, this one does a lot of work, to be honest. From this angle, yeah, it's a bit of a preference, to be fair.
Yeah, it really
Your
is.
sweepers are more deep inside of your base, so they will
You're
get a lot
kind
of
of
value later on
you're
in the
kind of
raid instead
covering the
of
inside
early
of the
on in
base.
the raid. So
Yeah.
it's a bit of a trade-off.
One other little thing about air defense, I talk about this quite a bit. You know, queen charge coming in from 12 quite easily is going to get to air defense. Um,
Maybe even three if you have two rages for.
there, yeah, good point. It's difficult. I literally, I just kind of struggle with this. It all depends on how your wall layout go. But I try and envision a queen charging into any corner or side of the base, and then picture that compartment that she's standing in. So the queen's standing in this compartment, well, she can get both those air defense, right? Same
And
thing coming
sweeper.
in, and sweeper. So something to think about is any sort of queen charge queen walking in here is going to get both air defense and a sweeper, and oh, maybe not a sweeper, but
Well,
regardless.
but with the new patch, queen charges aren't that done that often anymore. Um,
Yep.
Unless you're facing very high level war clans that specialize in queen charges, just like Crystal Warrior was. Um, it's not a thing you need to defend that much, but if you're able to, I would do it
Just a
because
thought,
you
right?
never
It's
know if that crazy person is in the opposing clan that just does it and looks really cool doing it.
all
Okay,
right.
so air
Let's.
traps.
Yep.
This trap is protecting the queen pretty well. The issue I have with that one, yeah, I would likely take that angle. So I think this is pretty easy funnel for dragons.
Yep.
So one will die, one balloon here. I would probably send in one balloon there as well to soak it up, but it's well placed because if you want to defend the dragons, they're not as used anymore. I don't really know why. I've been wondering that recently, but I haven't seen them used in a very
On
long
drag
time.
swaps. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, I understand why guys don't do like the attack I was just talking about, right? Where you charge in, get a couple air defense, zap one, and send in a bunch of dragons. It's just a time issue, but the drag swap, you're right, is not used a lot. And when I do see that in recaps, I like to point it out because if you can recognize, I mean, this isn't a very good base to describe because really you got this air defense here and this air defense here, so your coverage is like something like that.
it's quite.
Even in this case,
It's
a
like
drag
this.
swap would get good value, right? I mean, just
Yeah,
because
I
there's
think
so
so.
much crap here. Anyhow, but just I was
If
also
you
thinking
manage
that,
to pull them down, they would get enough value, more than
but a,
enough. But it's a tough one. I mean, keep your eyes open for it. It's not always needed anymore. But especially if you have like a CC near your queen, or like three air, air targeting defenses, like in your case, um, I would consider removing this black bomb because the chance of someone drag swapping you isn't that big, to be honest.
yeah, yeah,
So
okay,
the double black mines are over here, away from the queen, like the furthest away from the queen, and the other one is over there. So that's very nice. These are even a bit split up, so that's good, and they cover them pretty well. So that's a good job done there. This red bomb, I think the idea is to pop a hound. I mean, pop the pups as soon as the hound is popping. I mean, I've heard of the strat, but I've never seen it actually work. So my general rule of thumb with this is keep your red bombs away from the air defenses as far as a lava hound would explode.
I
So
I would probably throw one either there or even there.
yeah,
In fact,
so
that
so
wizard tower
keep
at three
them out of
o'clock.
this range basically, if possible. I mean, it's tough to do. I know it's very tough to do, almost impossible even, but keep that in mind when placing your red bombs.
Yep. And realistically as well, I'm not overall a huge fan because I think this wizard tower is in range of that air defense.
That's a close call. I think the range is not there, but here. Let me remove that. I think the
Um,
range is over here.
but
I
my
think it should be.
point, the reason why I don't like it isn't necessarily that. It's more so because even if it's not in range, that's the first targeted defense on the outside, which I'm never a fan of with my wizard towers. It's almost like you set like a hound, two loons. The wizard tower is not going to touch the loons before even if it is out of range. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, in this case, you would need to reinforce with at least one Tesla. If you have a Tesla over here, maybe even two, like one at
Yes.
the
Yeah.
bottom,
For
that would
sure.
stall loons very much. And having one or two red bombs there, even though they may get soaked up by a lava hound, that would get a lot of value.
Yeah.
So, like, especially with the bomb path thing, these Teslas need to move anyway. So why not place them in a better spot, like protecting this wizard tower?
Yeah. Because with the wizard towers having more health, guys, I mean, you might not think it, but they're a very
They're a
valuable
big impact.
defense.
Yeah, they're a
Very
high
valuable.
value defense now. Yeah.
So when you leave a wizard tower on the outside like that with nothing, like even another comment I'd make about this base is there's not one defense on the outside. Not necessarily the be all end all, but it's pretty easy to judge any sort of entry into the base. Like there's nothing you need to get creative with on the outside on your entry.
Yeah, I gotta admit that one. Just this weekend against War Wheels, I failed a golem drop. I was not thinking it would reroute. It was if I counted it. I was 14 or 15 tiles away
And it
out of the
still
wall,
walked. Yeah,
and it still walked. It
it
still walked all
happens.
the way down. I was stunned by it because it cost me the 3-star.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, my queen walk failed a bit as well, but I mean, imagine that. Like, for example, it would mean the cannon is over here at the camp, and I would be dropping my golem over here, or even a little bit further. Like, it walked all the way down.
Yeah, I've had that happen to myself. So just something to think about, though, guys. I mean, you don't have to have. In fact, you shouldn't. It's really beneficial if you just had an arch tower out here, just adjusted some things, right? I mean, you could adjust this compartment altogether to get that archer tower on the outside, move the Teslas in to back up the arch tower and the whiz tower. Then you're protecting that whiz tower, and then you leave that DGB path hanging a little more pure. Like you
Yeah,
can kind of
it's
just
going to be
adjust
a
some
lot
things.
cleaner.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And with these walls moving toward away as well, you could reinforce your core, get that wizard tower out of there because it's not doing anything, to be honest, except for screw up everything. And move it together with some other defenses to combat loons more effectively,
Yep.
I would say.
All right. Sweet. So I think there's this one wrapped up.
I think so.
Got
The small
air.
bombs are placed well on the
Oh
outside,
yeah.
one tile away from the walls. Um, this skeleton trap is not going to do too much with the new Valks. They actually attack quicker if they retarget than they do on one target. So I would try to specifically, especially now,
Keep them
keep
away
those
from Valk
skeletons
pathing.
away from Valk pathing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right,
And
but
I think, sorry?
overall, I like seeing these kind of, sort of getting there, right? Like the compartment sizing is so key, guys. Your queen is so key. So that there's a lot of mistakes in this base, but it's that next step,
It's
from
getting there, though.
yeah,
It's close.
yeah.
It's
One thing I
close.
will mention as well, I want to mention about the small bombs. I have seen the small bomb traps making a bit of a comeback lately as well. I don't know if you've
Yeah.
seen
I've
that
been
as well.
using them as well on my own base to trick
Yeah,
people that watch
just
our
in odd
series.
places. It's
And
gone
they work.
so yeah, it's gone so long, right? Um, that the bombs on the outside, everyone brings that test wall breaker and everyone does it. So um, it's kind of like you're calling someone's bluff and you throw them inside your base and you force a heal where people don't want it. So
Yeah, and if most of your bases have them inside, why not have one base have them on the outside?
yeah,
Like in
vice
your
versa.
case, this is the most likely entry point, except for this entry point, if they were not to use that jump. But let's imagine they're not using that jump. Those two spaces only need a small bomb, and you have them there. So that's so very well done.
Yep.
But the other bombs, I mean, why not place them inside of your base? Is there any reason to have them
Yeah,
on the outside?
like if you surrounded one of your single bombs, like, like this one, for example, you just
Absolutely. You make this
surround it
a sort of double giant bomb. If they aren't
almost.
pre-healed, they're gone.
You absolutely force a heal, especially if they're a little bit injured, right? You swap this wizard tower up a little bit, even behind it. I don't know. You know what we're talking about. So,
Yeah. So
anyways,
let's move on to the last base.
sounds good.
Okay, let's go. Tell me if you
Ready.
can see it.
So yeah, I can see it. We did like this one.
Yeah,
This was a
very good
very
base.
creative base. I liked it. Some things obviously about it, like every base, you're never gonna build the perfect base, but um, let's just start this off.
I really like it. Let's just say that at first. I mean, the queen chamber, it's kind of shallow. That's one of the issues I have with this base is my clearing doesn't work. There we go. The queen can reach quite far out. So that means attacking Archer Queen will not take that much heat while dealing with her. So imagine taking a bit of an angle, clearing this that gold mine, starting her around here. So she won't take it out. I'm just trying to think of a way to only have 1 point defense at a time, and from this angle, that is likely the case with this cannon. So it's a bit of a close call, but I think you might even get away with not even using a rage there to clear your queen. That's the point I'm trying to make. So, um, yeah,
Realistically, just real quick on that, if the base was just shifted down, like
yeah,
one tile to this side,
I was thinking the same. It
and you
it
could push
really
those
sucks
buildings out,
because you need to move the whole thing.
one
But
space you needed for those
yeah,
buildings. Yeah.
like this wall, there's no reason to have it out that far except for protecting this archer tower, basically. Um, yeah, if this wall was over here, for example, like 2 tiles in, you were able to move this 1 tile out, and that would help a lot. But
Hmm.
then again, your base doesn't allow it for it now unless you move the whole thing, and yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so moving on from it, there's a little. There's not too much point defense here. I mean, she's quite exposed. There's 2 archer towers, no black mines. So this, even though there's a sweeper here, I mean, this sweeper, this is a guess though, but I think it will reach around this area. That is not going to stop a dragon because a
Nope.
dragon over here will already make have a question mark, and if they move up even a little bit, uh, likely not even in the range of the sweeper, they will kill her. So in this case, I do think you need a black mine there because one of the reasons to have your king next to your queen in a queen chamber is to protect her from one side from incoming dragons. Like for example, if dragons were to come in from this angle, they would likely kill the king first
Hmm.
and then kill the queen. So that gives the queen a lot of time and the defenses a lot of time to kill the dragons before they actually kill the queen.
I think in general, just because it's pushed so far up, um, to only two archer towers and a cannon with the king and queen, like I just it that is like running bare minimum because the being with the CC so far back, they're gonna engage those heroes without pulling that clan castle out.
Yeah, and
Um,
that's another thing. Like you could queen walk this base somewhere and like do a suicide king.
yeah, that's what I was
Bring a couple of
thinking. Yeah.
giants. Maybe not. I mean, this is not worth a golem. Funnel a bit. Bring a couple of giants. Like drop them. Yeah, this pawn is well placed.
Hmm.
Gotta say that. But you can break it at the top. Let the king clear this compartment and have a queen walk somewhere else with a lure for the CC.
Yep. Yep. Actually, you think about it from the even just with Valks, right? Like you could just you're not going to need to heal them until they're, geez, like way into the base, right? With only the three, and then there's not much
Yeah, very true.
damage in the next row.
The golem will tank a lot.
Yeah.
Will be very efficient. So moving on from that, I mean, overall, good queen chamber. Just a small couple of issues. I would also even consider having an extra storage, like over here, for example, to make this north entry a bit tougher because you have a mortar over there, and that does wonders. I mean, compared to the last base, if I were to drop wanting to come in from the top, like my golem would either path over here, or if I were to drop it here, it would likely do the same thing I filled on and go towards that mortar. So this mortar actually is very well placed.
Yeah, I like it. That's like right on the borderline.
And it's gonna kill a wizard killing this
You're
golem
kind
army.
of you're kind of forcing the attacker to drop the golem on this side of the wall.
Yeah, and that's
Um,
nice.
yeah,
But then again, why is the king over there in that case?
yeah, I would swap the two, to
What?
be
Why
honest.
isn't he over there to protect the queen?
Yeah,
So those are just a couple of questions. Good job overall.
mm-hmm.
Moving on. Hogs, I'd say.
Yep.
There's one double giant bomb set, and is there any way? I mean, I don't even need to draw it, do I?
No, it's definitely 100% pure.
It's 100%
Yeah,
pure. The only thing I could maybe see happening is this jump, this
yeah,
triangle here. So that's the only issue I really see.
yeah. But that's kind of, you know what? You might even want to consider. I like the idea of this little whiz tower compartment.
Oh yeah, it's
How,
awesome
however, you might just overall want to consider moving that um, to somewhere
for
else. I don't
storage
know.
even if this was a storage. I mean,
Yeah.
that ensures that the pathing is pure. Stalls troops.
Stalls
I
troops
mean,
on a, like an intersection of the base too, which is what I like.
yeah, for example, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. So overall, I like the idea of having wizard towers together. I'm not sure if they can reach that, but they definitely can't reach that one. So at least three of those wizard towers are out of range. So I mean, are you even gonna attack this with balloons? Is there any way?
No, you're not. There's
So
no way.
if there's no way you want to balloon this base, why aren't the expos set to ground?
Yeah, it's a good point.
Just a
Because
question.
you could even because your queen your CC is very centered compared to your queen chamber. You could really focus your C3 troops on air targeting troops, and ground both your expos.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Yeah.
absolutely. And that's another thing. Not many people do this, but a cold-blooded could get
The one.
most of these
I
defenses.
should have
It's
done that in
tricky.
the War Whales War. Ugh, there's one
It's tricky.
base. There's one base with an air defense there, and I thought the Valk pathing was a lot better, but it is tricky, and especially because you're gonna take your initial damage from that king and queen and the queen chamber, and by the time you get to this sucker, the CC is gonna be pulled out. That expo is gonna be locked on. That's
This
gonna be
Archer Tower
locked
is
on.
nasty.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
gonna get a
So
lot of value.
I think overall it's a good way of defending, especially with this sweeper. That would make me as a fresh hitter think that there's at least one Tesla here
Yeah, no,
because
absolutely as
the
well.
sweeper's pointed down.
Yep. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's
I
very
think there'd be
nicely
even
done.
more, and that's what I liked as well because you kind of have this as a very good air defense chamber, but you haven't dedicated any of those to that chamber, and
Absolutely.
I think that's a great idea because you're now creating two very deadly kill zones um, by
Yeah,
doing that.
especially, I mean, the double bombs are over there, combined with the Teslas. I mean, if there's any defense killing pups, except for maybe an Expo, it's Teslas. I mean, they just roast them,
Oh yeah.
and I love it.
Yeah.
It's a very good strategy. So I think that's base Laloon proof. Let's just stick to that and continue the hog thing. String traps, doubling up there. Let me just double check that because a hog will move over like this and likely trigger it, but that might be a one or two hog trigger. From the other side, straight up, of course, it's a double trigger, but they might move up and then go here. So this spring trap might not always trigger perfectly.
I just like the one there.
Yeah, I would just stick to the one. I don't think two is needed over there anyway.
Otherwise, very solid, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
there's no way. This is perfect. I
yeah,
mean, they're gonna move like this. This one, they're gonna move straight up. There's no other way to go, basically. And at the top, this one's gonna move like this. So yeah, that should work, and this should work as well.
yep,
So very nice job. I mean, if the only spring I can comment on is like over there, very nice job.
that's awesome. Yeah,
And another thing I wanted to mention about this base, um, you're forcing a heal over here. You're forcing a heal over here. You're forcing an attacker to deal with this compartment, then forcing another heal over here, and one over there.
and even still, like quad Teslas lined up like that require you can't just drop 6 hogs and a heal for that.
No.
Like, do you know what? Actually, I was wondering this. Approximately, what do you think if you just had hogs and heals to deal with that 3 o'clock compartment? How many do you think you would need to invest?
Um,
It's a tough call, eh?
I would not go below 8 hogs.
Oh no,
No
I don't
way.
think 8
I
hogs
think I
will be
need
able to
10.
do it. I
I
think you
think I
need at
need
least
10
10.
to not lose any hogs.
A nice early heal.
Yeah, like straight up heal.
Yeah.
Not even bother about the last Tesla. I mean, try to cover it with the heal, but only barely.
Get him through it.
It's very tough.
Yeah, it's getting through it. That is tough. Really
So
tough to do it.
what this base is doing basically is you're forcing attacker to take out at least this compartment. And if you can take out this compartment, the rest of the base becomes open. Well, let's say a lot more open.
Yeah.
Um,
Because you still have to deal with the Queen Chamber, and you still have
yeah.
to deal with the 4
And
Wizard
that is
Towers.
also the reason why I'm thinking like you need to force a little bit more in the Queen Chamber, because you're forcing someone to come in here anyway.
Hmm.
So if the CC, this is one of the reasons why I like a CC in the Queen Chamber. If this CC was over here and helps defend your Queen, they're forced to invest a lot into your Queen, and they need a different, separate plan for the Tesla Zone and Double Giant Bomb.
Hmm.
Just moving one building, basically.
Yeah. Where I'm pretty sure you could fairly straight up King Swap that Queen.
Yeah, right now you can.
Yeah.
And with the CC, you likely can't.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I would change. I'm still thinking. I'm so tempted to march in here with the Queen, and try to take this out. Try to take the CC out. Take all of
The
this
Queen
out.
charge. Quake
Yeah,
that.
but it's tricky. I mean, that sweeper over there. I don't think I would dare to do it.
I was initially. I'm glad you brought that up because I was gonna say that, and then I looked at the sweeper and I was like, oh, that's probably not doable. And you know why? Mainly, more so because of these.
Yeah,
Once
and
she
that's
stepped up into
another
here,
reason why you need them grounded.
yeah, there you go. At least one of them.
You need them grounded. This one absolutely needs to be grounded.
Yeah, for sure.
The north one.
Yeah, because then they're both gonna hit her once she's inside that.
Yeah, and
Right?
also you're forcing someone to that wants to do this queen walk, for example. I mean, I know it's not possible due to this air defense, um, but that forces so much more if you point that thing down. Yeah, the one way. I mean, this is 330 is not viable anymore. But this quake over here does open up 3 bombs, and
Yep.
the excuse me, wizard farm.
And you know what I've been seeing? I've been seeing guys quite comfortably with the way Valks are now taking a quake and a jump.
Yep.
And honestly, you quake that, you get all that, maybe drop a jump. I mean, you can't really
Now
trust
I
the
believe you need to
pathing.
jump this and not connect the sweeper. Because if you jump
Oh,
to
yes.
this area, you can quake this or even jump it as well,
Hmm.
and
It'll just
reinforce
finish off.
your Velks with a couple of surgical hogs. Like, not too
Yeah.
many. I mean, you're going to lose them anyway. I mean, these hogs are expected to be lost. And then heal the Velks in this section. I mean, there's not too much coming in before. And they will take this out, and I think that's the way to triple this base. It's one of the only ways. So,
Still very tough. And you
yeah.
know what? Compared to remember what I was talking about with the last base. Look at this guy's base. If you charge into any compartment, you cannot. Well, the only
There's this compartment.
yeah. There's that compartment. However, good luck. You know what I'm saying? I
Yep.
mean, With the rage, I think, because if you came from the bottom side, you would generally start to get these one at a time almost.
Absolutely. But then there's 3 storages here, and if this expo is grounded, um, that would still be tough. You need like
Yeah.
at least 1 rage, maybe more, especially with the CC coming out.
Or even the sweeper we talked about. Imagine if that sweeper was there, protecting
Yeah,
that.
that's another thing. If you have a CC over here, and the king plays differently, and yeah, I mean, if you change up this queen compartment a little bit more, you're free to point this sweeper somewhere else, like over here.
Yeah.
If you do that, it makes the whole base that much harder to hit.
Yeah. Overall, though, it's a very good job. I really like this base. Clearly,
Yep,
this guy
so do I.
built some solid bases.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, hats off. The only thing I could comment on still is the red bombs. I think these are more to take out minions, I think, but then they need to be placed out more. They will not stop too much, so reconsider your red bombs as well. That's what I would say.
Yep, for sure. Black bombs tucked away right there. We got two, and two right there, completely offset. Looks good.
For example, protect this cannon over here. Nah, never mind. I think this archer tower will kill a balloon. I was just checking for one trades, and there may be 1 or 2 in this base.
But even
I'm not
still,
too sure. I mean, this mortar is likely a 1-for-1 trade.
I mean, what? Like, think about even if you had a couple like tucked in there or there, so everything is they clump onto. I mean, you're not gonna try and lalo that. I guess. I guess that's the idea. Why would you
No,
add
that's
red
the
bombs to
idea
that?
behind moving them to different places. This one is a pretty good one. I mean, that's not a very likely path for a lava hound. Well, it sort of is. So you could maybe place them over here, for example, to keep them out of, or even spread them out a bit more. Um, like these areas are pretty nice places for red bombs as well.
Hmm.
So I think that mostly covers it. Something I still want to mention is protect your queen well with walls. These walls need to be high level walls, and except for that, the insides of your base always need to be high level walls. So don't have them on the outside because those will be wall breaking anyway, unless it's the difference between a level 8 and level 9 in this case. So if you're expecting someone to break in at one point, and you have level 8 walls like this in your base, then I would make them level 9s. In any other case, put the strongest walls in the core of your base.
Yeah, yeah, it's tough because you want them to spend three wall breakers.
Yeah,
You
that's the
want
idea.
them to. So, all right, beautiful. You want to wrap this up then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming out. Always a pleasure to have you, my friend.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So that'll do it here for your wisdom from Wiser, folks. Just trying to help you bag that next tree star. Till then, we're out.